when it comes to situations where you have to make a trade-off between these two different things, how do you navigate that? I assume he means his different careers.
Yeah. It's difficult. Again, like the more things that you're interested in doing, or the more things that you want to work on, like whether that be revenue streams or whatever, it's the less time you have for each of those things. So, like, let's say you want to set up all six of those revenue streams you talked about. If you sat down and try to do them all at one time, it's just not practical because there's just so much to do. That's why we recommend kind of building one and slowly integrating it. Now, what's difficult about let's say you're heavily into acting and you're also into music, which is very common, especially amongst our members. Like, what do you do with that? Because music's a full-time job and acting can be a full-time job as well. And it's not like you're always just working for yourself. If you're an actor, you're going on auditions and you're looking for roles and you're researching and you're doing all these other things, which again in itself might not leave a lot of time for music, but it's about finding that balance. So would I recommend working hard at them both at the same time? Maybe not, but you don't really always have that option. If you really want to do both, it's important for you to put time into that. But that comes from being really organized. So let's say you're developing your music career. I would say spend some time getting it set up so it kind of functions really well. And there are lots of things that you can do that will help you automate some of your common activities that take up a lot of your time. And then once you kind of have that in place, then maybe divert your attention back to acting and do whatever roles or things that you're trying to work on or trying to get. Or if you're developing a show for yourself, obviously you want to put time and energy into that as well. But it really, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to planning and being organized. It's not the sexiest answer in the world, but it's the truth. Like TJ and I run a label and a coaching business, and we are working on our third venture even as we speak. And the only way that we're able to do that is by being excruciatingly organized with everything that we do and learning how to complete complex tasks in an easy way and automate them. So you want to, again, learn each aspect of what you're trying to create for yourself in your business, whether that be, hey, I'm shooting videos on a regular basis, or I'm doing this on a regular basis. Learn that aspect. And then after you kind of go through it the first time, which will take the longest period, then you come back and you say, okay, how can I do that faster? How can I make that more efficient? And you want to incrementally add each thing that you are developing to your career, so that you can, have time to do other things. But if you get to the point where it's just like, hey, I have no time to do acting because my music career is just full, then you might want to consider bringing on a team member to help manage certain things, or a virtual assistant that might help you post your stuff, or anything of that nature. It can be really tricky. I'm not going to lie. It's anyone, again, one of those things is a full-time job, and we haven't even talked about still maintaining your personal life. But it is possible. It just comes with being again, very organized, being clear on what you want to work on, and delegating time. If it's something that's a role that's coming up next week that you need to audition for, and the music stuff can wait, then the music stuff can wait. That's one of the better things about being your own boss. Like, you can schedule things as need be. TJ, any thoughts on that, or did I answer
Um,
that?
I mean, it's tough. There's a lot of specifics. I mean, there's a million reasons you could go with one over the other. I mean, an obvious one I would think is like money, and a very dry practical one. It's like, if one thing is bringing you in more money, you go with that for the time being until you can figure out how to make up for it on the other side or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
if always do what works in terms of when you're talking about your business. But if you love one thing over the other, I mean, these are the arts. I mean, you can prioritize one because you want to make that work more, because you want to spend your day doing that. Um, but the good news is that, like, again, as Greg was saying, it's like these things are all, you're one person, you're one business, and these are all aspects of that business, and you can make them all work together. So, your fans of your music are probably going to be a fan of your acting, and all of your social content can be relevant to one or the other, and you can all kind of all bring it all together. So it's not like you really always have to choose one or the other when it comes to time and commitments, especially with like
yeah,
acting. If you're committing to, a run on a stage show, or a tour, with music, like, yeah, you're going to have to say, okay, I'm going to have to carve out this time, but you can always pick up where you left off when you get back.
Yeah, and that's actually a great point. Because in that scenario, what T is basically saying is like, let's say acting is bringing in the most amount of money. Well, that becomes your primary revenue stream, and then music and everything else becomes the kind of the satellite revenue streams that support that, that where you can learn additional income, but you're using the acting as your primary focus, and then letting that trickle down to the other ways that you can earn money. Myrna from Myrna and the Bulldog is a accomplished actress. She does a lot of things, but then she also directs and she also produces and she also does music. So like but her primary focus, I would say, is acting. But then she has all these other things that she does, in addition to that, and she's very successful at doing it. So at the end of the day, TJ and I always kind of just gauge success on if you wake up every day and you're working for yourself, then to me and him, that's successful. Like if you can wake up and you control your day and what it is that you're doing and you don't answer to anybody but maybe, your audience or your customers, then that's, what you're going for. Obviously, some people want to make millions and whatever, and we strongly encourage doing all those things. But the primary thing is to focus on the ways that you can make money and if there are things that you love doing, then that's great. And then, when you have time or if you have the money to hire help, then you can work at developing everything else that you need to do it. But, again, it's just trying to figure out what you like and where the success is coming from and kind of going with that. Thanks for watching. If you're looking for expert help with your music career, schedule a call with us today, or you could enroll in one of our free artist development programs. The link for both can be found in the description below. And please, don't forget to subscribe. Your support really matters, and we appreciate any help that you can give to the work that we do. Have a great day.